cholera, typhoid, thereby safeguarding the health and productivity of the youth. By promoting sanitation, we are not only building stronger, more united communities, but also empower young people to channel their energy and potential into innovation and nation building, rather than battling avoidable illnesses. These two thematic areas remind us that sanitation is not only a matter of cleanliness, but also empowerment, dignity, and national pride. The Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment is committed to mobilizing schools, youth groups, student associations, community volunteers, and young entrepreneurs in the sanitation value chain to actively support this all-important National Sanitation Day. We will harness their energy, creativity, and innovation. We will channel the enthusiasm of our youth into a united, concerted effort to building the clean and green Ghana that we all want. We will integrate sanitation education into our programs to build lifelong habits of environmental responsibility and deepen the link between cleanliness and national development. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the state of our environment mirrors the state of our development. By keeping Ghana clean, we protect the health of our people, safeguard natural resources, and secure the future for generations yet unborn. As a ministry, we strongly believe that sanitation is not just a duty, but a shared legacy and responsibility. As a ministry, we will partner with the district assemblies, traditional authorities, civil society, development partners, alongside the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy, and Religious Affairs to promote sustainable, innovative, youth-led sanitation initiatives across the country. Our commitment is to ensure that young people are not only active participants, but also leaders in this historic effort, making Sanitation Day not just a monthly event, but a way of life. In concluding, Mr. President, I also want to take the opportunity to commend our various youth groups that have continuously been at the forefront of sanitation issues in this country, especially our YEA sweepers who continuously, even under difficult conditions, try to keep our country clean and safe. And also to the bar stop boys who on their own have volunteered to continuously keep our environments clean. Together, let us build a Ghana where cleanliness, health, and civic responsibility define our national character and everyday culture. Thank you very much, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana.
We thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, can we do a bigger round of applause for Lawyer George Opare Addo, Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment. And of course, because of his designation, we also have to add the fact that he's known publicly as Pablo. The explanation of the origination of that nickname we'll discuss later. But let's appreciate him with a bigger round of applause. Your Excellency, Nana Chair, Niga, Honorable Ministers, members of the Diplomatic Corps, friends from educational institutions, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to pay my respects to some more national officers as we look forward to the commissioning address. The Executive Secretary to the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, Mr. Gamali Hodofia, is here with us. Please do a big round of applause. And of course, in these days of prefixes, you have to do it and do it well. Dr. Gamali Hodofia, a big round of applause. All assembly members and unit committee members here are also duly acknowledged. Shall we do a big round of applause? We also duly acknowledge the presence of the Greater Accra Regional NADMO Coordinator. Also, the Dean of the Greater Accra MMDCEs, Honorable John Desmond Soanai, is here with us. Executive Director of Zoom Lion Ghana Limited, Mrs. Gloria Enti, is here with us. The Honorable Ebi Bright is Mayor of Tema. Shall we do a big round of applause? She is referred to as the last baby of Parliament, but of course, because of the happenings of the past week, she'll be handing over that title. Your Excellency, good people of Ghana, please help me acknowledge the presence of the Member of Parliament for Ablikuma North, the Honorable Irabna Obin. So, Honorable, I can hear some whispers on the days here, and I'll tell you for free, enjoy the last baby status for a few more days. At this time, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good people of Ghana, please permit me to bring here to the center one name who has remained very consistent on our hearts and in our minds because of her endeavor in the arts and entertainment industry. She has combined various art forms to make amazing music, which has not only wowed audiences here in Ghana, but in different parts of the world. She has brought her talent and her presence on the international stage on this particular project. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please help me with much love and applause to welcome the legendary Akosua Ejepong for a performance.
Mommy, see fine makeup, nice body presentation. She go nephew. Hey, G. Yeko cleany. Brother G yeko cleany.
Ghana for Obi afana sekai. Obi afana so ne praye. Ena serra. Yeko cleany e wo se Ghana fan to mapefra.
Mommy, kaho.
Yeko cleany.
Asana ne yo. Yenyum no.
Sorry, brother cleany. Yeko cleany.
Yes, see your papa cleany.
I'm sorry, me cleany.
Mommy, who's there?
Yeko cleany. Let's keep Ghana clean. Sorry, brother cleany. Yeko cleany. Ghana for Nina. I'm sorry, me cleany. I have to my pemtra. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
Yes, see cleanliness is next to godliness.
Keep Ghana clean.
Oh, I was so beyond Ghana.
Sickness like malaria, cholera.
Yeah, give me some malaria.
It's killing both the young.
When you say that they buy Kungo for
churches, communities, workplaces.
I'm sorry, I was so beyond sorry.
Let's talk to our people.
Now what say you to me to your crop?
Keep us around this clean.
And who be here to baby? Ghana for you. You're cleaning. Sorry, you're papa cleaning. Baby, I will be your papa cleaning.
Ghana for you now. Sorry, me cleaning.
I'm running to say I'm better when you're not ever.
First Saturday of every month.
The patch of me mean the beer.
See your frontage.
See.
When you get to your workplace, don't
Don't
sit
do what
down.
you want.
Press we got to keep Ghana clean.
I was say you shall not ever.
When you are caught throwing rubbish away,
say it still so
if
to
you are a
rewa.
woman,
So we are ba.
you'll be caught over 50.
You better so your best fipa.
If you are a man,
That's all your bema soa.
you'll be caught bema 50.
You better so your bema fipa.
Let's keep Ghana clean.
And it's your moya humade.
Let's keep us around this.
Say your bema yem patamu and chuck your po. Yes, see your papa cleaning.
Sorry,
Papa, papa, you will hand you your pen. Papa, fella, your
sorry, me cleaning.
Papa, what the shit? Papa, what the shit? I'm sorry. Now you're my homody. Say you're my Ghana. The fear I hire no. That's so everything. Mommy, what's the Yakaino? Yada was say.
That was the evergreen Akosua Ejepong. Please do it one more time for her. And of course, for any musician, you'd wish that after many years in advancement, you still have this much energy and all of the very big moves that she has when it comes to appreciating music and communicating through the very big and powerful tool of music. We appreciate you, the legendary Akosua Japan. Shall we do it one more time for her? It's now my pleasure to welcome here to the podium a man of many values. Earlier today, we were engaged in a conversation, and he was talking about passion and simplicity. The passion which drives everyone to achieve. The passion which drives everyone to move concepts from paper to reality. And the passion which drives everyone to go ahead and imbibe values such that they become a part of our lives. He is very passionate about this idea of reintroducing the National Sanitation Day. He wants to adopt a lot of simplicity, but most importantly, being effective and being measurable. He's already started charging many of the agencies under his ministry to ensure that success is achieved. The numbers gathered here, the representation shown here, is even enough testament already of the work done so far. Your Excellency, Nana Chair, Niga, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good friends and loved ones, good people of Ghana, it now gives me great pleasure to welcome a fine gentleman who has served as a member of parliament for the last 17 years and has been tasked with the crucial responsibility of overseeing the Ministry for Local Government, Chieftaincy, and Religious Affairs. Please help me welcome the Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim.
Thank you very much. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my very good brother, the MC, one of those journalists who trained me when I came to Parliament in 2008. Your Excellency, John Dramani Mahama, the President of the Republic of Ghana, the distinguished and revered, fair, firm, and flexible Chairman of the National House of Chiefs and President of this occasion, President of the National House of Chiefs and Chairman of this occasion, Nana Oji Ahoho Yao JB II. Distinguished and hardworking honorable regional ministers who have flanked me here this morning, highly spirited colleagues, ministers of state present here, honorable members of parliament, the gallant and dedicated honorable metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives from the Greater Accra region seated here, our illustrious, respected, and revered Gamanche and his team, Nime, Name, our colleagues, religious leaders, especially the apostles from the Church of Pentecost who have dedicated 1 week every year for National Sanitation Week, present here. Service commanders from the various security services, partners from the UN private sector, civil society and other non-governmental organizations, representatives of ministries, departments and agencies, youth, traders, driver unions, students, distinguished invited guests, including our respected, committed, dedicated, honest, and hard-working representative of the good people of Switzerland, Ambassador Simone Giga, present here and seated with His Excellency the President. Ladies and gentlemen from the media, good morning. It is with great honor that I welcome you all once again to the official launch of the reintroduced National Sanitation Day. And I'm particularly grateful to His Excellency, the President, John Dramani Mahama, always refers to as Ghana's infrastructure king, who was brought back for his good works. The Bible says, your deeds shall follow you, and your works will speak for you. For his presence today, which underscores the importance the government attaches to the environmental, sanitation, public health, and sustainable development issues in this country. We are here to rekindle a national movement with a collective aim to restoring cleanliness, discipline, and dignity to our communities, cities, and towns. It is a bold declaration. We as a nation will not tolerate the menace of filth, environmental, and disease. Environmental sanitation has long posed a formidable challenge in Ghana. Improper waste disposal, poor drainage management, indiscriminate littering, and weak enforcement of sanitation bylaws have led to grave consequences, including outbreak of cholera, malaria, typhoid, and other sanitation-related diseases, and even led to unfortunate tragic loss of lives. Beyond the health hazard, flooding, destruction of infrastructure, the decline in tourism, damage to our natural resources, and economic setbacks cannot be overstated. It is against this backdrop that the National Sanitation Day was originally introduced in September 2014 under the good leadership of His Excellency, the President of the Republic, and that was Mahama I. Yes, this was visionary leadership of His Excellency, the President, John Mahama, with the support of Honorable Julius Debra, the distinguished Chief of Staff, and the then Minister for Local Government and Rural Development. The National Sanitation Day demonstrated that when citizens, assemblies, and traditional leaders, together with civil societies, organizations, come together, we can make our communities cleaner and healthier. However, as we all know, the enthusiasm has won over time, and the gains have not been sustained. Your Excellency, Nana Chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the reintroduction of the National Sanitation Day is therefore a renewed social contract between the government and citizens. Between the government and citizens, anchored on accountability, enforcement, and sustainability. And it's anchored on three of the following items. 1, to restore discipline and pride in our public spaces. A clean environment is a for public health and a national dignity. 2, to empower and mobilize local government structures with fully integrated as a key performance indicator, that's KPI, for our revered and hardworking NMDCs. Hence, assemblies must take ownership, ownership and leadership in ensuring sustainable cleanliness. 3, to foster citizens' participation and accountability as the sources of these laudable initiatives rest on the active involvement of all stakeholders, communities, civil society, the private sector, and the media. And as you know, the GJ's president is asking for monthly media engagement for openness and accountability, which His Excellency the President stands for. The National Sanitation Day is therefore a clarion call to all Ghanaians, communities, public institutions, the private sector, civil society organizations, and indeed all Ghanaians in a united front against unsanitary conditions. This initiative emphasizes collaboration, accountability, and sustained effort to tackle the mounting sanitation challenges that confront our nation. Nana Chair, the National Sanitation Day will be observed simultaneously across all 16 regions and all the 261 metro, municipal, and district assemblies of Ghana on the first Saturday of every month. Beyond cleanup exercises, the campaign promotes behavioral change, public education on waste segregation, waste reuse, and waste recycling, and enforcement of sanitation bylaws across all 261 MMDCs. As I've reiterated on various platforms, the National Sanitation Day is underpinned by clear, well-defined objectives, performance indicators for assessing the level of cleanliness in our various metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. The ministry is also introducing additional accountability measures as follows. And I want all MMDCs in all 261 metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies to listen to this. 1. A dedicated sanitation hotline would be established, enabling citizens to report public cleansing nuisance directly to the ministry. Reports will be cataloged, verified, and followed up with the relevant assemblies for immediate action. 2. The ministry will maintain a central dashboard to track reports, responses, and performance of all assemblies. This will ensure real-time supervision and national oversight. Lastly, assemblies will be required to submit monthly report on their sanitation activities to the respective regional coordinating councils headed by the regional ministers, including the status of public cleansing nuisance, and progress made in implementing this directive for onward submission to the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy, and Religious Affairs. Now, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, environmental sanitation is a shared responsibility that requires consistent and collective action from individuals, stakeholders, communities, and institutions. It is therefore important that every Ghanaian take this responsibility for cleansing their environment, as the National President of the National House of Chiefs has stated. The success of the reintroduced National Sanitation Day hinges on the active participation of all Ghanaians, and I repeat, all Ghanaians. As a ministry, we count on our traditional authorities and religious leaders to impress upon their subjects and followers to actively participate in the all-important national activity every first Saturday of every month. Your leadership in mobilizing communities for sanitation activities will inspire our collective effort. The influence of our religious leaders reaches the heart and minds of millions of people in this country. And as we all continue to knock on your doors to ensure that every moral responsibility towards maintaining a clean environment is achieved, we hope you will respond to our call. To our youth and the students, I challenge you to lead this charge. Your energy and creativity are essential in driving the change that we want, and therefore building the Ghana we all want. Distinguished Nana Chair, we also recognize the invaluable contribution of the media. We therefore count on the media fraternity to continue informing, educating, and highlighting sanitation issues and celebrating this positive community effort to ensure cleanliness and building the Ghana we all want. The role of metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives in enforcing sanitation bylaws and providing the necessary logistics is crucial. And I urge district assemblies to intensify their effort in ensuring compliance of all district assemblies bylaws and national sanitation laws. Your Excellency, as I conclude, I wish to extend my profound appreciation to you for your unwavering support and hard-working leadership in prioritizing environmental sanitation. I know your effort will result to clean cities we all want to see. And as you had already stated, we all must come on board to build the Ghana we want. I know your effort will result to the clean cities we all want to see. I wish to passionately appeal to all Ghanaians to participate actively in the upcoming monthly National Sanitation Day cleanup exercises. Let us enhance this initiative together. We can build a cleaner, healthier, and a more prosperous Ghana. Let us rise to the occasion and make the National Sanitation Day a transformative force for our national development. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
We're grateful to you, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, another big round of applause. Your Excellency, today we're also receiving support from the Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, who's also the sitting Member of Parliament for the Elemble constituency, the Western region of Ghana, Honorable Ama Kofi Boa, ably supported here by his deputy, Honorable Sulemana Yusuf. And we're also grateful to have the Deputy Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission, Mr. Elikem Kotoko. Let's do a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The country representative of UNICEF Ghana, Mr. Osama Makawi Kogali, is also here with us. A big round of applause. Also, the chief of the wash product under UNICEF Ghana, Mr. Arnold Cole, is here to support. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good people of Ghana, I'd like to remind all of us that this launch is live on GTV and Radio Gold. And now it gives me great pleasure as we prepare ourselves for the commissioning address to welcome yet another giant in the gospel music industry in Ghana. His talent is great, his voice is amazing, and he's lifted many people to Christ. Today, he, very much like every other Ghanaian, believes in the ideals of the National Sanitation Day project and wants to add his platform and his numbers and his amazing inspirational voice to it. With another big round of applause and much love, please help me welcome Jack Alolome.
Hello. Yo, Joe boy.
Joe boy. We thank God for how far He has brought all of us. I've done a song for sanitation. The mother of sanitation is broom. Can amen to up. We go. I'm said DJ no oh hunyom no. The Ghana we want, it should be clean. The Ghana we want, it should be clean. Ye drama mfonso yaka yanum. Ubeti tankasia bo. Ebasa ye dodo ye shishi ye prapra ye chichi ye Pejan salsa. President, God bless you. The Ghana we want, it should be clean. The Ghana we want, it should be clean. The Ghana we want, it should be clean.
Ghana, are you ready? It's time to come together for a cleaner, healthier, and brighter nation. On Saturday, 6 September 2025.
DJ. Obeti tankas yabo. Maminti se tankas yabo. Obeti tankas yabo. Ebasa ya dodo, ya shishi, ya prapra, ya chichi, ya mobi, nihina ya huni ya nkwa. Ghana we want, it should be clean. Better Ghana. It's all about sanitation. I say better Ghana. It's all about sanitation. Ghana fue yempefi, a teacher for, a nurse for, bank fue. Mr. President, Honorable, Enkwala, Empanim for, journalist for Mujina. On my money now say, God bless you.
A teacher for,
Come on.
a nurse for,
Hey,
bankers,
Yempefi,
a 24,
Yempefi,
a sorry for,
Yempefi,
a man of way,
Yempefi,
come for,
Yempefi,
a fear,
Share Yempefi.
a mountain so,
Oh, I saw you for when you say, hey, see, God bless you all. God bless you all. God bless you. Mr. President, on the 5th, I'm having a program at the National Theatre. 5th of this next month, October. God bless you.
And ladies and gentlemen, the interesting thing about that program is that it is free of charge. Shall we do a big round of applause for Jack Alolome? And now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in our culture, anytime a person of importance or the chief is about to address us, we shout appellations on them. Today, we will make sure that we observe that norm in a very special way by welcoming His Excellency with a special cultural performance. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, shall we do a big round of applause as they get us ready? Your Excellencies, honorable ministers here gathered, Nana Chair, Niga, honorable deputy ministers, members of parliament, friends from the academia, friends from various educational institutions here in Ghana, our friends from the media, good people of Ghana, ladies and gentlemen gathered here and following us via virtual platforms. Decades ago, he found himself on Mother Earth as a direct descendant of one name which is prominent in Ghanaian politics, and that name is Emmanuel Adama Mahama. He has an education from that very early age here in Ghana, some which is traceable to Ghana Secondary School and also the University of Ghana, Legon. Moved out of the shores of this country, went into Europe and got further education. Returned home to start off a career in communications, which got him to work with international organizations, including Plan International. Later on in life, he was called to public service to represent the people of Bole Bamboy constituency, a duty he discharged with great commitment and great excellence. It was also to be the case that later on in life, he was called upon to serve as a deputy minister. Over there, he showed great excellence and the potential to even grow beyond there. And that's the reason why, not too long after that, he was given the responsibility as a full minister of state. During that period, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, he was credited greatly with ensuring Ghana's smooth movement from a certain age into the new millennial age, which also ensured that the world was dealing with a new kind of technology. And of course, his work as a minister ensured that Ghana smoothly sailed from one century into the other without getting bitten by what we describe in the technological world as the millennium bug. Further growth was recorded after all of those achievements, because after that, he was called to even higher service to become Vice President of the Republic of Ghana under the departed President John Evans Atta Mills. As fate would have it, one day he woke up, and due to the acts of God, he was sworn in later that day as President of Ghana. He served the people diligently, and at a certain point had to go back and reflect for 8 years on his leadership, reorganize himself, and come back with a message better than the first. Good people of Ghana, it's my pleasure to present to you one fine gentleman who has served this nation as a member of parliament, a vice president, and on a second occasion as president of the Republic. I present to you His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces.
Thank you very much. Kindly resume your seats. Yeah. Thank you very much. Let me acknowledge His Royal Majesty Ni Takite Kochuru II, and to thank him for lending this event with his gracious presence. Yesterday I was together with him at the sports stadium watching a titanic match between House of Oak and Olidade. For those of you who didn't hear about it, it was a 1-1 draw. So everybody was victorious. I want to recognize also our clergymen who are here in their numbers. I want to thank you for lending your presence. I want to thank all our traditional authorities who have had the opportunity to join us. But most of all, to thank our chairman for gracing this occasion with his presence. He represents the chieftaincy institution, and his words have very profound effect that the chiefs are going to be an integral part of this program in order that it makes it a success. Every society has values, and in all societies, one most important value is the value of cleanliness. If you take any religious denomination, whether you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, or you belong to African traditional religion, all of them say and respect the slogan that cleanliness is next to godliness. You cannot be a godly person if you live in filth. You cannot be a godly person if you're not clean. And so whether you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, or you believe in Pelekpeji or whatever, they all believe that cleanliness is next to godliness. And that has been part of our traditional value systems. I know that when I was growing up, anytime I vacated from school and my father made me go back to stay with my mother in Damango at the time, early in the morning, my mother, my aunties, my sisters, and we the children will be waking up at 5 a.m. and all of us will be given brooms. We will sweep the whole compound. We'll go outside the house and sweep around the whole house and gather every litter. That was a part of African traditional practice. Unfortunately, today, that value system has broken down. You have people living in a family house, in a compound house. Nobody is prepared to join to make sure that the house is kept clean. Modernization does not mean that we should abandon our value systems. Just recently, I came from two very modern societies, Japan and Singapore. They are well developed, they are into AI, they are into space technology and everything, but their value systems in terms of their culture and traditions are still intact. You go to Japan and Singapore, you won't see one single piece of paper or plastic anywhere on the ground. Indeed, Singapore is West. You're not allowed to chew gum in Singapore. So they don't sell chewing gum in Singapore. And if you are found chewing gum, the punishment is 10 hot lashes. It's true, they have corporal punishment in their law. And so if you litter or you throw plastic somewhere, I don't know how many lashes it is, but it's more than the chewing gum lashes. And so every citizen in those two countries believes in their cultural values and in cleanliness. There was one day when I was still quite young, I had started my first job with Japan Embassy. We went on internship. We were 16 of us from 16 different countries. And one of the times we had gone on a field trip, we were walking back to the hotel where we stayed. And there was somebody walking ahead of us. And as he was walking, he saw a piece of wrapper. I think somebody had eaten chocolate and dropped the wrapper on the street. He didn't drop it. I mean, he was just walking and he saw it. And I noticed that he got there, he bent down, he picked the wrapper and held it and continued walking until he got to the next litter bin. And then he dropped it in. I mean, in Ghana, how many people would do that? That you find something lying and there's a litter bin 50 meters ahead. But they value their cleanliness. And so everybody is a part of it. But the beautiful thing is, they are trained from when they are children to believe in that value. And so when they grow, they don't depart from it. And so aside from organizing National Sanitation Days, we must inculcate in our children the spirit and awareness of cleanliness. I remember when I was young, we had a course in basic school called civics. For those of you who are my age, you remember. The younger ones, I'm sure they don't know anything about it. But it was called civics. And for 1 hour every week, we were taught the values and courtesies and how to be a responsible citizen. And one of the course materials was what was mentioned, Courtesy for Boys and Girls. It was a very little book, and it showed you how to carry yourself as a responsible citizen. It even showed how you should use cutlery. And that when you're sitting and eating with other people, don't belch. I mean, all those things we were taught when we were young. And so when I go for lunch with people, I don't belch. And they even taught us that while you're chewing, don't open your mouth and be chewing sharp, 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 sharp. And so when I go for lunch with people, I don't chew sharp, sharp, sharp like that. And so we must, the saying goes, it says, teach the child the way they should go, and when they grow, they shall not depart from it. And so we're in discussion with the Ministry of Education to see how we can create, as part of the curriculum, a separate curriculum on courtesy and responsible citizenship, so that we can train our children from basic school through secondary school. And I believe that if we train them properly, when they grow, they will not depart from it. We all know the people we used to call tangas or sama-sama. Oh, I thought those were children there. Oh, hygiene, environmental officers. Okay, I'm coming to you. Now they call them environmental officers, or is it hygiene officers? But let me tell you, those who are called tangas were more feared than you. You become abrofo officers. Oh, you shouldn't keep your place dirty. Yeah, why do you have paper here? There's sama when they were coming, my mother and everybody will be running around and picking up anything, disposing of water that can breed malaria, larvae and all that. Because if they come and see one thing that is out of sync, sama straight, they'll summon you to court. And when you go to court, they'll fine you. And so we need, aside from public awareness, to also create a deterrence so that people know that, yes, while we expect you to live by these values, if you go against those values, there's a certain sanction that you must bear. And that is why between the district assemblies, the environmental officers, and I'll come to our traditional authorities, we have to create a system where people are sanctioned for breaking the sanitation bylaws. People take rubbish and go and dump it anywhere. And that is the more difficult to take. For instance, one day we were driving during the campaign and one of our vehicles busted a tire. And so we stopped, the whole convoy stopped to repair the tire. And so I was standing by the roadside. And all along the roadside, the highway, were bottles, plastic, takeaway bowls. I mean, just name it. And that one, who is going to go on the highway to go and pick those things? At least in the communities, if you dump it here, we can do National Sanitation Day and clean it up. But what of on the Accra-Bolga Road? When are we going to get people to go all along the road to Bolga and pick things up? And so dumping out of vehicles is even more dangerous because they are not putting it where we can go and collect it. But these are all things that we should draw attention to. Now I come to the role of chiefs. Our chiefs were the leaders when it comes to volunteerism and communal labor and cleanliness. Unfortunately, with independence, new constitutions and all that, the authority of the chiefs has been eroded in terms of the power that they can exercise within their traditional areas. I am in favor of restoring some of the authority back to chiefs, especially in respect of our environment and sanitation. We have a national constitutional review process ongoing, and in that process, some amendments will be done to the Constitution. Issues dealing with chieftaincy are in Chapter 22 of the 1992 Constitution, and I think that the National House of Chiefs and all the Regional House of Chiefs must look at that chapter properly so that we can bring amendments that will reinstate some of the powers of the chiefs. I believe that in every community there's a chief. And so if in every community there's a chief, we can put a sanitation court in the palace of the chief. So that working together with the district assembly, people who are persistent polluters will be brought to those sanitation courts and they'll be given the sanctions that they deserve so that we can have cleaner communities, cleaner cities, and cleaner towns. But they won't abdicate the responsibility of the district administrations in terms of sanitation. When my government came, we had a situation where more than 50% of the district assembly's common fund was being spent here in Accra at the district assembly common fund administrator's office. And so sufficient money was not going to the districts to be able to carry out their obligations. Now, MMDCs, you have no excuse. I directed that 80% of money due to the District Assembly's Common Fund must go directly to the MMDCs. And so you can't tell me you have an excuse of lack of resources. You have the resources, and if you remember when we were inaugurating you, I told the local government minister to tell you that one of your key performance indicators is the cleanliness of your district. It is your number one KPI. And so when we come to assess and evaluate your performance, we're going to look at how you handle sanitation as one of the key performance indicators. And sanitation is actually a function of decentralization, because central government, including the local government minister, cannot ensure that every district is clean. And yet we have demarcations of district boundaries. And I want you MMDCs to know that everything that happens within that your district boundary is your responsibility. And that is why we've decentralized the authority to you, and we've also decentralized the resources to go along with it. And so recently when I saw a regional minister, and she did very well, Linda, going to a Ramsar site to go and demolish buildings and stop people from building, the question I ask myself is, isn't there a district assembly in that area? It should have been the DCE, his planning officer, and all of them who should be there, because you live with the people in the district. And the filling of the Ramsar site was not a one-day event. You could see that it had been going on and on. And the worst case is that some of the people had building permits to do what they were doing. I mean, a DCE like that should be sacked immediately. But I know it didn't start with the DCE there. It had started in the previous government. But I'm drawing your attention to it, so that tomorrow when you get a sack letter from me, you know why you received the letter. Recently, there was another case somewhere near Ningo Pram Pram. That one was not even a Ramsar site, a whole lagoon. And permit had been given to somebody to fill part of the lagoon to build, they say, a fence wall. I mean, it's unacceptable. And these are the things I want our MMDCs and regional ministers to open your eyes to. The thing about these lagoons and Ramsar site, you see them and say, oh, they serve a useful purpose. It is because we have taken over those wetlands and those Ramsar sites that flooding has become worse in Accra. Because the rains in Accra come from the Kwapim Mountains, and there are a lot of streams coming down and going towards the sea. And before they enter the sea, they enter a wetland, and the wetland accommodates the water and discharges it into the sea. So can you imagine what happens if you fill that wetland and build on it? When the water arrives from the stream, where is it going to go? It will go back into your houses. And so people do little things like this, and we see them doing it, and we walk past. But when the effect comes, and your house gets flooded, then you say, oh, government, come and help us, come and save us, come and help us. But you saw what that person was doing. Sometimes there's a stream passing through your community. Somebody will shift sand, sawdust, and narrow the stream. And his narrowing of the stream is going to affect you because the volume of water that comes, the stream is narrow. It cannot go through that narrow path. So it will back up and enter your houses. And so let all of us be watchdogs of sanitation and the environment. And like I said, I'll hold the DCs responsible for your districts, but it will not only be for sanctions and punishment, it will also be for encouragement. I've asked the minister to put in a system of awards for the cleanest districts. And the cleanest districts will get very handsome awards. And so he's going to put it together and bring a report to cabinet, will approve it. And every year we'll make provision for the cleanest district awards. And it's not only the DCEs or the district assembly, the traditional authorities in the districts will also benefit from the award. Today, the spirit of voluntarism is dying. Before we would all come out, the chief will beat the gong gong, everybody comes out, and then we'll clean our whole community, or we'll go and do some public service. Today it's very rare to find that. But there's a little group of young people that consistently volunteer their time and energy to help keep our country clean. I encountered them last year because I saw them on social media, and they call themselves the Bus Stop Boys. So I want to commend them. After I finish speaking, there's some other ceremony we'll do to assist them to continue with their spirit of voluntarism. But there should be many more bus stop boys. It shouldn't be only them. There should be others emulating their example. And so we need to recognize them so that everybody can follow the example they are making. Like I said, it's not only about deterring and punishing, it's also about encouraging. And so from next year, and we'll choose the best districts, but we have the 10 kilometers per constituency program, and we're starting with 166 constituencies. And so every year, we'll do 10 kilometers of roads and drains and pavements so that we can improve the general aesthetics of your districts. And so we'll choose 166 constituencies. Some districts have 2 constituencies, others have 1. And so we'll choose the 166, but it will also depend on your responsiveness in terms of sanitation and all that. And when we have done that, we expect that it will improve the general environment of your districts. And if it does, our expectation is that you keep the drains clean, you make sure that those streets are clean. What is the use of coming to rehabilitate your roads and build drains and pavements only to come and find them littered with garbage? And so that would also be an incentive for districts to keep themselves clean. As part of the 24-hour economy too, we want to bring regulation so that a lot of the sanitation work and the garbage collection takes place at night. It doesn't make sense when in the morning we have gotten up to go to work and we are in the rush hour traffic, and that's when a baller truck too has gone to collect garbage and is competing with cars on the road. In the night, from 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, most people go home and the roads are freer. If you go and collect your baller and you are taking it to Amasama or to wherever, it will be easier for you than during the day when everybody is using the road. And the worst one is the ones who go and pull that liquid thing. I don't want to spoil your appetite. When they come and empty your cesspit, you know, day-to-day time, you are carrying this thing around, and some of them are not very well maintained, so you can see the flies and you can smell the poo-poo following them. You know, we must do regulation to ensure that they do that at night so that they are not a public nuisance. And so I've spoken enough. I was giving a written speech, but I've abandoned it because I wanted to speak from my heart. So I'll give the speech to the Minister of Local Government and the Minister of Government Communications, and they can publish it for what it is worth. But I thank you very much, and God richly bless all of you. I have one last duty. I almost forgot. That is to declare the National Sanitation Day program duly launched. And as you've been told, it will be the first Saturday of every month. And so, on behalf of government, on behalf of the people of Ghana, I have the honor and privilege of declaring the National Sanitation Day program duly launched. I'm supposed to press this button. If it works, Thank you very much.
We're grateful to you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we do a resounding round of applause for His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Mr. John Dramani Mahama. charging all of us to have renewed values to supporting and implementing the National Sanitation Day project. And now that His Excellency has opened the way, he would perform one last gesture, and that will be the presentation of items personally to the bus stop boys who have been exemplary in their delivery of social responsibility along the lines of sanitation and cleanliness. At this time, I would like to welcome the bus stop boys. Shall we welcome the bus stop boys with a big round of applause? And just before we welcome His Excellency back here, would also like to acknowledge the presence of all directors of the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, and also the host MCE, the La Quantana MCE, Honorable Faila Ibrahim. Thank you so much, sir, for all the collaboration. We would also like to appreciate for their attendance and their support the MP for Dom Kwabenya, Honorable Eli Klim Akrubu. We also once again say a very big thank you to our two musicians who supported from the arts and entertainment industry, and they were ably supported by Madame Benis Ansa, who's also a gospel musician. Your Excellency, today my sign language interpreter and our sign language interpreter who has delivered her duties with great excellence is Gladys Love Emisa. Shall we acknowledge her work with a big round of applause? It is on that note that I once again, with great respect, welcome His Excellency the President to do a personal presentation of some items to the renowned bus stop boys who are a group of great example. Shall we welcome His Excellency with a big round of applause?
Thank you very much. As I said, we decided today to recognize these selfless, community-spirited young people who, for several years, using their own resources, their energy and strength, continue to volunteer to keep our city clean. My attention was drawn to them, as I said, last year, and that was because they were appealing for a tricycle to be able to cut away the garbage when they have removed it. Tricycle is aboboya, for those of you who don't know a tricycle. And so I donated a tricycle to them. And since then, I've been seeing the good work they do. They take a long stretch, they remove the pavement slabs, and they go into the gutter and scoop the gutter. And by the time they finish, you see water is flowing through the drain. So today we decided to honor them and make a presentation to them so that it can facilitate their work. And so I got the Chief of Staff and the Ministry of Local Government to put their heads together. And they have these items that are arranged over there. They have 200 wheelbarrows. They have 300 shovels. They have 300 brooms. That is the local broom, prior, and then the one with a stick, standing broom. There are 300 of those. Then they have 300 hand gloves. You know, when you're doing sanitation, you have to wear gloves in order not to carry infection. Then they have brushes, they call them standing brushes. And there are 280 of those. Then they have what they call short brush. I'm not exactly sure what that is. But there are 20 of those. And then they have 300 buckets, plastic buckets, 300 of them. And so we're going to present it to them this morning in recognition of their work, the work they do, and also to facilitate and make it easier for them to continue doing what they do. If other volunteer groups come up, we'll recognize them the same way and assist them to also be able to help the community. So bring me one of the brooms. We'll just use one of the brooms or the brushes. Yeah, any of them. So it's my honor and privilege to present these items to the bus stop boys. And so your leader can take charge of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. To the chairman of this beautiful ceremony, all protocol duly observed, and to the president, I call you the father of volunteers. Because at the time you gave us the 50,000 was at the hardest point of our lives where we wanted a mini excavator to be able to do a lot of the silting. And fast forward today, I'm so grateful personally because at the end of the day, it started with me. And everybody here also saw the need to join. We are so grateful. And let me also remind you, Mr. President, there are already existing 12 young volunteer groups doing same as we do. The likes of Keep Kumasi Cleaner in Kumasi, the Brotherhood is in Koklobite, the Gandangbe youth are somewhere, was the name Choco. Say, we are so grateful, and because of your kind support, many of the youth are seeing the need to be involved in this. Say, I am particularly passionate about this journey because I do understand that the foundation of life is the environment. And once the environment starts going bad, it simply means that we are going to have more people walking to the hospitals. And no matter what, we cannot guarantee beds for 100 people falling sick in a day. So we are so grateful, and we say with this, we are going to push even much harder to reiterate and to state that indeed Ghana is the gateway to Africa, and we must start to ensure that we have cleaner space everywhere. Finally, sir, before I conclude, I also want to remind you that as a student of history, I know that as far back 1996, Rwanda was fighting genocide. Say, today they are the cleanest city in Africa. It saddens my heart because I know Ghana hasn't gone to any war, meaning that we can do much better. But we need to say, deliberately involve young people in the campaign of environmental sustainability. I remember an advert that talks about drugs when I was young. That says, Akwalawo kohin, muowi, muo cocaine. I still remember these ads after 30 years. All I'm trying to say is that infographics are very powerful too. We need to deliberately put them on our media spaces in order to change the mindset of the collective. Thank you, sir.
Well, the applause should be louder, and it should be louder. The bus stop boys representing what can be positive about the youth of Ghana, showing great example and getting the attention of authority with His Excellency the President at the helm. A great gesture indeed, which will go to encourage and also unconsciously inspire many others in different parts of the country to do same. Your Excellency, we're grateful to you. Ladies and gentlemen, another big round of applause as we appreciate His Excellency and also say a very big thank you. Your Excellency, Nana Chair, Niga, members of the diplomatic corps, honorable ministers, good friends and loved ones, we started off by seeking the mercy of God who created earth and gave us our environment, and we will wrap up with same. I'd like to, with great respect, welcome here Sheikh Abdul Rashid Udui, who is a member of the advisory board of the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Dr. Osman Nuhu Sharbutu, and he will be delivering our final prayer. Shall we welcome him with applause?
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. Let me say my senior colleague, Dr. Abubakar Marzouk Azindo, is here on behalf of the National Chief Imam, and I'm also here to offer the prayer on behalf of the National Chief Imam. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, verily all praise and thanks are due to Allah, the Lord, cherisher and sustainer of the universe. We are grateful to him for the rare privilege of being alive. We thank him because indeed his word indicates that la in shakartum la zidanakum, that if you show gratitude to me for the little that I've done for you, I'll do more for you. And it is on this basis that we want to express our sincerest appreciation to the Almighty Allah for seeing us through from the beginning of the program to this end. We pray that indeed this program that has been relaunched will be embraced by all. And indeed, the intentions that the sector minister enumerated will be followed to the letter to make it a success. We also commit the life of our president into the hands of Allah. We pray that you continue to protect him, grant him good health, and also grant him the wisdom to pursue policies and programs that will inure to the benefit of all Ghanaians. We also ask Allah to entrench the peace and stability that we have in our nation, and also to take away the conflicts that we have in some few communities across the country and indeed the world over. As we travel from here to our various destinations, it is our prayer that Allah will take us back safely. Allahumma barik wansur Ra'isana John Dramani Mahama wazidhu bastatan fil ilm wal jism. Allahumma ijal baladina Ghana baladan aminan mutma'inan wa barik lana fi awtanina. Allahumma ba'idil harb wal fitnat wal amrad min Ghana wa sarib lal alam birahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Allahumma aksin akibatana fil umuri kulliha wa ajirna min hizi dunya azabil akhirah birahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Allahumma anta amartana biduaika wa atana bil ijabatika wa kad da'awnaka kama amartana fajibna kama wa'atana ya zal jalali ikram innaka la tumul ad. Amin. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Amen.
We shall rise for the national anthem of Ghana. We're grateful to all of you. Please remain standing as His Excellency goes round to exchange greetings. With our King and all of our friends gathered here. After all of this, we will remain seated as we are guided to the information center. And now His Excellency, the President, will go around to exchange greetings, beginning with the Gaman Chair and President of the Traditional Council, and also President we're grateful to Nana Chair Ojiahoho Yao Jibi, the second, who is the President of the National House of Chiefs and our Chairman for today. distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all members of parliament, deputy ministers and guests will be treated to a reception at the information center, which is towards the main entrance of the school. Thank you very much.